Welcome back, people. I've been gone for a few days, but I've been seriously working on a lot of graphics, things to enhance not just this channel, but things that are looking to manifest in 2022 and beyond. And getting back into the swing of things with my first love, which is art. I'm relearning a lot of things. This is what I'm encouraging my brothers to do, to take this time to relearn some new skills. Get back into your passions and learn how to monetize them. That way it doesn't feel like work. You can put your full energy into it and reap the benefits of doing your damn thing. But enough with all that. I want to say a shout out to all the veterans across the board. Salute to you guys. Hope you guys are okay. You got supplies and everything you need for the winter storm and whatnot. And making sure you and yours are good. And I will speak on a few things later this Sunday in the condolence of losing a brother I've heard recently. But I'll talk about that later. And to all subscribers, both new and old, welcome to the channel. This is a conversation that mainly deals with veterans. This is often vet talk, but I open the floor to veterans across the board in many sectors. We're talking about industrial, corporate, social, entertainment, things of that nature. Because when it comes to spiritual warfare, we're all soldiers in different uniforms, but similar mission, excuse me. So with that being said, now the housekeeping is out the way. Oh, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell for future videos. With that being said, this is part 3 of the 5 series dealing with the folly of the modern day dinner whores. And this is also going to be a stern and blunt rebuttal to one of the members of BGP in addressing her contribution to the podcast. It's a response to what I've seen on the recent stream. And shout out to the ladies out there doing their thing. I'm going to leave the link in the description box so you can go check them out, support them, as I have no problem supporting fellow peers who are promoting solid content, stimulating the thoughts, and moving the conversation forward. But as I'm saying, part 3 is going to deal with the Dine Dash Mentality. All too eager to demand things on/outside the menu, yet never with little to no intent to pay gratuity nor services rendered accountability free. Now, much love to one of my peers that said, "What the fuck do you be talking about?" I'm going to keep it simple. In simple terms, you got people who demand shit. They want, of course, the stars, the moon, and the universe for little to nothing. These are your social freeloaders. People always got their hands out, except when it's time to kick in. Now they got to sit there and wonder what kind of excuse they're throwing in your face to justify their fuckery. Hope that explains that. But I'll go further. Of course, this comes with the table conversation. We talk about how things started. How Ton Tavern, which was the birthplace of the Marine Corps. You have other organizations as far as like Knights of the Round Table and things of that nature that started with a lot of concepts at a table. A place where not only will you eat, but you're bringing forth things within your mind, your heart, and in the company of camaraderie and like-minded individuals. But these little fucking freeloaders love to take advantage of said things across the board, be it any kind of relationship you could think of. And before we delve into this will be streaming for the whole time. No respect, no cooperation, no service. And I'm tailoring this message. It was originally to speak on the women's behalf, but since we're in the age of equality, and we do understand as men, some of you dudes are bitches too. Most times bigger ones. I had to keep it level, so that's what I'm going to do. So that being said, we're going to speak on number 5, which we're breaking down 5 parts. Generational feminine/masculine erosion. Past versus present. Now, I can go into detail of how this came to be, but I'm going to leave that link in the description box for BGP's recent podcast. But what I will say is this. In the future, from now and moving forward, it would be intelligence, as people claim to be such intelligent beings, to find out the great things that worked for those in the past and integrate them into the present. That way we can unfuck ourselves in the future. Now, there's many conversations where the boomers did this, Gen X did this, whatever generation went through this and that. Adversity is no respecter of persons, creed, nor sex. That's the grand scheme of things. Now, I know people talked about things of the crack era. And granted, I grew up in, I'm a 75. I was born in 75. I've seen things in the 80s and the 90s and so on. Been gifted with seeing some of the greatest transitions as far as music that I've known of. We're talking about from Earth, Wind, and Fire to great rhythm and blues to like witnessing Rick James, Michael Jackson, Prince, and hip hop in its birth, all the way to what you see now. They say favor isn't fair for a reason, but that's a story for another day. But what I'm going to speak on is how we relate to each other. Of course, we had hoes back then, but they moved different. There was a thing about confidentiality and things of that nature. And there was like system, order, structure to a sense. Far much more than what we see here. Aside from all the slut walks and all the silly ass shit that you see every day. So you got individuals say they're strong and independent, but when you see them, they got a filthy ass car, which is a hamper on wheels. They have fucking air mattresses with headboards. The fucking audacity. You got chicks who are 15 payments in the hole for Renaissance furniture. They owe 12 payments on a Chevy Nova that fucking has been decommissioned a long time ago. You got dudes out here who have to panhandle for pussy, which they're sitting there as a fire sale, literally. Things have changed in a way to where you have men afraid to being masculine men. And you have women who run around with plastic truck nuts disorder. They feel that femininity is a weakness. See, I could show the chart, but I fucking won't. There is actual power in femininity. See, when you're able to have that level of class, grace, and understanding who you are and who you're around, you can use your ways as far as like femininity to manipulate the environment to favor you. But see, run around with a plastic dick and trying to slap every man that you see with it. That's why chivalry is on life support. See, when you got guys who are around one of those unicorns, you say, a feminine woman, that balance is there. Things tend to be brought forward, which you can ill afford as a woman. Same thing as you guys, you males, you Maggles, you Jonathans, you Tinder dicks. You're the guys that think that any codependent relationship is cool. You're cool with the friend zone. You're cool with being food guy, the emotional tampon guy. You're cool with the fact that your girl is listening to a lot of these edgeless oracles like El Scalpo, aka Cynthia G. Or these snaggletooth heifers who sit there, they say they fucking hate men. Or this back-asswards divestment movement who's roaming the digital desert in the wake of Mr. Clean, shout out to Kid Organic, is running the table on you hoes. What I'm going to say to this in closing, this thing is we need to get back into being who we were meant to be. Shout out to my brother Sheep Stay Sleep. It always says, know your role and play it. See, when it comes to the table conversation, there are many great things that we can bring to the fucking table. And just as you've seen great things happen as far as like different branches, how they were built in the military. Our ego, our pride, misinformation, and our unwillingness to empathize with others is what's keeping us from the fruits of our labors, the benefits of using our brilliance as a collective. When you work as men and women, sound-minded men and women, you can build many great things. So you got these internet weenies who are afraid of speaking to women. They think they're supposed to be grandfathered into greatness, and it won't happen. She's not going to sit there and throw you on the ground, fuck you, and say, look, we're in a relationship. That Rasputia shit that was in the movie. Unless she's a mud duck or she has ill intent planned for you. Same thing with the guys. You can't do the same thing making these lofty demands without a plan for yourself. The ability to say no. Stand on your square and have a backbone. But see, there are many dudes out there who don't mind getting pegged literally and figuratively just for the approval of someone who doesn't give a shit about you. See, we can stop the feminine and masculine erosion by paying heed to what great things happened to the past, learning from the mistakes that have been committed, dismissing ourselves from revisionist history, and learn how to leave a legacy as a collective. Learning how to value your time on this earth. Learning how to be remembered, not just by what you say, but your deeds and your impact to the people that you have affected in a positive way. That's something you can do respectively, and it takes time. But if you're serious about it, it can start right here, right now. But that remains to be seen from here on out. So, number 4, believing the establishments must pay the tab for relationships past. Now I'm going to start with the guys first. Granted, I too have been in relationships. I can count for a 2-for-1 special almost a decade ago. And I could rightfully bitch, piss, and moan about what these individuals have done to me, said, put me through, and all that stuff. But let's be honest. I have to have the stones to admit I gave them a platform to show their raggedy asses on. I gave them stage time. I did not give them a Sandman hook when it was sorely needed. See, when I go and meet other people, after I took that time to heal and trust myself again, you give everybody a clean slate. And every time you meet somebody, matter of fact, when you wake up in the morning, it is your duty to drink a fifth of fuck it. And you give everybody enough rope to redeem themselves or hang themselves, which in turn means you give everybody a clean slate. It's on them to write down a list of how to treat them or be received by them. If their actions, words, and intent don't work in concert, I'm going to say this bluntly, them motherfuckers are full of shit. And you can take that for what it is. Now with the females, it is not our job to entertain the long list or box of receipts that you've had with individuals that you poorly vetted, that you were loosely pursuing emotional variety for motherfuckers who didn't mean you no good, wasn't executing the 4 P's. We're talking about provision, protection, problem solving, and procreation. You were looking to get what you wanted to get, which explains the whole Dine Dash situation. You wanted to use that person's 4 P's and T's to your benefit. Fuck what they got going on. Now, many a man who is smart enough to understand what's going on, he'll walk away from your ass. He'll see it for what it is and keep it pushing. But see, when you have examples like you look at Memphis or Tennessee, rather, in one project, you had 3 men sire over 80 kids. It's amazing how your woman's intuition is always in the shop or has a shitty warranty when it comes to be accountable for shit that you claim to have intuition to see. How's it your intuition didn't kick in to know that motherfucker wasn't shit? Oh, you look for pet projects. Well, you Bob the Builder hoes need to understand that you need not only better tools, you need better architect plans. But I get why a lot of y'all do that shit. A lot of y'all like to take control of young broken boys. You like the idea of a motherfucker looking for another mother to sleep with. See, when a guy's got his shit together, we talk about establishment. Some of y'all have never been in a 3-star, 4-star, a 5-star restaurant. We can tell by how you enter the facility, i.e. approaching that man. We can tell you ain't been there by how you sit in the company and ruin the atmosphere. Many say they know their worth, but that is called thought inflation. You want to be treated like the stars that you idolize. But you can't do that with a short bus mentality and some EBT pussy. It's impossible. We don't, again, you look at the bottom, no respect, no cooperation, no service. Along with the maggles you tend to train and use as emotional tampons. It is up to the owners of said tables to protect their space. See, it isn't just knowing the quality of your mind and your heart and everything you have pertaining to you. It's the people you allow to invade your space. Do they add value to it? Or are they soliciting bullshit in your presence, disrespecting your establishment, twerking on your table? As much as you like to see these bountiful ass cheeks sometimes, you have to understand some of these females are not the ones you need. Your intuition is telling you, get this musty bitch out this establishment. But again, you got to be accountable for the consequences that you entertain, both seen and unseen. So, number 3, Helpmates versus Torn Hamstrings. Now, I know this will blow certain chicken heads' minds, especially your Kristen and Carolyn and those Scalpo disciples and all the edgeless oracles that y'all support. Fuck them. That being said, this is the definition of a help me. It's a noun, a helpful companion or partner, especially one's husband or wife. Now, I haven't forgot about you goofies out here, who are running around mad at women for whatever, trying to find love at the strip club, in the back of a dope bookstore, eating some chick's ass that you just met at McDonald's. When it comes to being a brother, sister, friend, girlfriend, boyfriend, fiancés, husband, wives, elders, you got to put the work in to earn said titles. Just because you got older doesn't make you an elder. Just because you put a ring on somebody's finger does not make them a husband or wife. Because how many times have you seen it for yourself? And know the feeling when you made your vows to somebody who has divorced your ass a long fucking time ago. They're just going through the motions because they're trying to recite a part that they've seen in the Real Housewives or whatever the fuck. How is it that you call yourself looking for Boaz where you can barely wash your ass, much less cover that man's ass? See, I'm going to go on record. As much silly shit have I endured over the years. I do not hate women. I credit that to not just my father for showing me the many things I needed to see and hear, especially the blunt parts of life. I credit to my uncles. I credit to my cousins. I credit to my peers who happen to stand on their conviction and show by example that it takes a very bold act of courage to profess your love to someone who has earned it, to properly vet those people. Not just as far as like dealing with a wife or whatnot, to be sound fathers. Some of the guys I know who are listening to us are great fathers. I can hear the banter and the tone they have with their children. I can hear the joy in their voices when they talk about their families. It's a powerful thing to create a legacy. And with a lot of brothers, we are losing along the way daily. You got to ask yourself, men and women, how the fuck do you want to be remembered? What steps are you taking to break generational curses? I get what a lot of our forefathers and foremothers have done. Some of them are outright career fuck-ups. Some are modern day fuck-ups. But you always wake up with a chance and a choice. Shout out to Jay Prince. Will you be a helpmate? This is pulling your weight. When you approach the table, it starts by how you come into the door. Now, granted, there's situations that are outliers. Some of the best relationships or even connections I've had, some were one-night stands. Some were potential crushes. We could have made something, but circumstances didn't turn out to where you wanted to. There's women I know that I can sit there and talk for hours with because we talk about things more than just her pussy and her problems. See, when you're a helpmeet, there are many things that you can help not just other people with, but yourself. See, there's things that you can bring to said table. One of those main things is a healthy relationship with yourself. Not just the women, but the men too. And how do you feel in the company of fuckboys and backwards bitches at your table? When you value trust, currency, respect, honor, value, all those things that a lot of us veterans across the board not only appreciate, but we earned. It's a whole different atmosphere. See, home isn't just where you lay your head. Home is where you can feel trust in speaking things, not just to people, but through people. It's an energy. It's a tangible spirit that some people that you sit around to, you can enjoy and be yourself, your true self. When it comes to home, it can unlock many things. It is your barrier where you can drop your armor and your shield. Shout out to the Thinking Man's Templar. Things where you can be the man you were meant to be. So you can recharge, rest, enjoy your time before you weather the wars out there. Because spiritual warfare is everywhere. The main ground you need to win in is at home. That's where a helpmeet comes in. But in all part of it, you have to have that stern vetting process. Fellas, ask yourself, what does she bring to the table besides her pussy and her problems? Who gives a damn if that hard-footed harlot has a fat ass and can do all these magical tricks like suck a chrome off a trailer hitch? That's cool. You're just a talented throated bitch. Or if you're laying up with a handsome Holocaust, what does it mean? Of course that dude's laying pipe to you. He's fucking to survive. He's a hobosexual for a reason. And there are female ones too. Some of you guys try to adopt him. Shout out to a certain nigga that looks like Sideshow Bob and light skin. Things like that make the difference between a household and a house of ruin. So I'm going to move on to number 2. 5-star demands with negative 3-star patronage. Now, we always have this conversation about what do people bring to the table. And you get a lot of these modern day women, females more or less, who talking about, I am the table. I bring this and this. I ain't bringing shit to the table. No respect, no cooperation, no service. I'm telling the men, you got to value your table. How do you feel you're trying to make your money, create ideas, promote leadership in the right way, and you got this crunchy foot hoe dropping them on flaky feet on your table that you just put pledge on, which you need to spray extra pledge and WD-40 on her feet? How would you feel if some dirty ass dusty dick dude was bringing bullshit to your table, threatening the sanctity of your home, your reputation, your legacy? Everybody wasn't meant to eat at your table. When you have a dream, a vision, a business, ideas, some motherfuckers are not fit to sit at the kiddie table because they don't respect the environment that you have created. They don't have system, order, and structure. And some individuals who claim to do it, they're the worst fucking offenders. How many shitbirds do you know run around claiming to be men of valor? But they're everything but. These are dudes that need heavy flow tampons sent to their door every month. Because I've always said, it always takes a pussy to expose and control one. But hey, enough of the guys. Let's talk about the ladies, the females. How is it you have these lofty demands and we take a look at you as an individual? Because many of them don't like to be judged. No, excuse me. Many of them don't like to be fucking held accountable. They like to throw rocks, but then you throw a pebble at them. Now they act like they broke an ankle or tore their quad. As I said before, these torn hamstrings, that's all they come into the table to do. They're looking for cheap sympathy. They want you to sit there and they bring more problems. They create more problems because that's their version of love when really they're fucking energy vampires. They will siphon the greatness out of you and then move on to the next one, where you're left there curled up like a Capri Sun after recess. That ties into 5-star demands with 3-star patronage. What do they say about you in the presence of others when you're not there? This is why you got to vet not just the women, but your peers, your family, business, across the board. If you value your table, you need to remember everybody can't eat the shit that you got. That's why you got people looking at your fucking plate, starving and want to put their hand on your plate. Not only do you slap their hand, sometimes you take that fork to stab them right in the fucking palm. Stay the fuck off my plate. Figuratively. There are many brothers, there are many women out there who are indeed solid, who are about the right, who are out there kicking ass and taking names and doing what they're supposed to do. But many of you would understand that if you got the fuck up off the porch and got outside and interacted with people. And I'm referring to all you socially awkward motherfuckers who like to sit there and use keyboard courage to piss them on about your outright fear to becoming men and women. Some of these individual chicks run around here talking the most shit than the ones out here dehydrated for dick. out here trying to act like they're chaste and all this bullshit, but you do understand that's all cap. Some of these talking about, man, I'm this, you can't talk to me like this. And he's softer than wet drugstore cotton. Out there bumping his chest online, out there cyber thugging. And then when you see him, he out there popping his pussy in the middle of the street for a whole hour. Before I move on to this, the solution is start understanding the necessity of having a healthy relationship with yourself. See, you won't have these lofty demands if you understand what you're about, what you're on, and elope with reality for a change. Understanding what all those material things that you're trying to compensate for, mama not buying you a dream house, or daddy didn't get those Hot Wheels. Learn how to relate to other people. Stop treating people like a fetish. That way, when you show honor and respect to who you are and what you're meant to be, you will become a feature in certain people's lives rather than a failed footnote. I'll let you chew on that for a hot minute. And number one, we have more faith in wet third world monopoly money than fake femininity and brotherhood. Now, not really seriously pointing a finger, but I am going to address this individual respectfully. Miss Williams. Individuals who have affinity for edgeless oracles, who believe men are the scum of the earth, those who have these unchecked grievances about the opposite sex. It's very hard for men to take a lot of these females seriously when they treat the women who respect men, respect themselves, and actually are not failures at Femininity University, referring to them as mammies, pick-me's, and other pseudo-derogatory names you want to call these women that have been properly coached, taught to embrace the power they have within themselves, to respect the fact that men, masculine men are necessary. That you can have great things happen when you know your role and you play it. Now, with the brothers, some of you guys are walking pieces of shit. There's some guys who are unfit to stand among us. Granted, all of us have our respective issues with a lot of the modern day women of today and some yesterday. But becoming rooted and grounded in who we are, knowing what we're about, what we will tolerate and what we won't. We have far better things to do than piss and moan about pussy, going 0-12 for prom, going cross country in the hopes of smelling someone's bathroom seat. All you weenies out here making these chicken heads rich by having them fart in a jar and mail it to you. All these weird fetishes and whatnot to further embarrass yourselves. Hanging around individuals or worshiping at the feet, the crunchy feet of these internet idols such as Fart and Flaccid. And a lot of these goofy characters that fail to promote quality over quantity. This is what makes you the scourge of brotherhood. When it comes to brotherhood, it's about checks and balances. It's about making sure that brother is not only walking upright, but he's a sound representation of what you stand for, what you're about, and what can be. I'm proud to say I do have brothers across the board. Some I haven't seen in a while. Some I make sure to keep tabs on. This is a similar trait to all fellow brothers out there. In this day and age, while we catch a lot of hell, in spite of that, we do persevere in many things. We are the greatest fathers out there. Some brothers who are not blood related, you can love better than a brother. Some are needed father figures when we lose those who are important to us. There are men who are trusted to keep a lot of women upright. Not to be their emotional tampon, but the fact that they understand the creed of great leaders creating great leaders extends to the fact that I might not have to fuck you to fuck with you. But that's a whole nother level of discipline. Men not being afraid to cry in the falling of a brother or full expression of themselves. Men not afraid of saying the word no and standing on it. Not trying to be popular to make everybody fucking happy and be codependent. Understanding like your word, your actions, and intent working in concert is not just favorable for you, but for others beyond you. Knowing that what you do, there are people watching that you know of and that you don't. And how you move and order your steps, that can influence the next generation just by example. He has a level of spine, dignity, discipline. He understands that every woman doesn't need to be fucked as much as he would like to. Because personally, there are some chicks I would love to sit there and clap them cakes. However, the big head must lead before the little head. There's a time and place for everything. And being such men like that, we understand you can't always fuck your way to respectability. It's an idea to say you're supposed to fuck up. You're expected to. But you're not supposed to fuck around your time. Trying to smash everything that isn't nailed down, because sex is more than just the exchange of fluids. It's a whole lot deeper than that. But when it comes to brotherhood, if you're hanging around 9 bums, you're going to be the 10th one. Guilty by association. Learning how to use conflict and resolution. De-escalation of force. Conflict resolution skills. Willing to debate things in a respectful manner, even though things can get passionate. Sometimes you got to slang them things just to get that shit out. Shake hands and take an L. Hey, much respect. Because respect is still a valued currency. And it's amazing what kind of mountains it moves just with that alone. See, if you want to talk about high value, it's the eternal. Because we talking about brotherhood, there's many a man who's out there got Solomon's gold in his cabinet. But there's certain things he finds out he can't rent, lease, or buy. It doesn't matter if it's a solid gold casket. What does it mean when the sons you bore, the family you bore, the women you married, turn their back on you, won't even fucking come to your funeral, won't even speak good about who you were? Because it's deeper than rap. It's much deeper. Same thing as you chicks who want to buy these monthly installments of Goofy Bitch Illustrated. These pseudo femininity chicks. I send a mad shout out to the actual genuine ones. The ones who stand on their shit and not using it as a fucking hustle. Women who are about their shit. Women who know how to carry themselves to where they could change the environment to gain the counsel and the respect of men who don't panhandle to pussies, male pussies at that. It's much deeper than how you look. And I know I'm not monetized yet, but there is a danger, inherent danger, dealing with beautiful retards and handsome holocausts. Trust is earned. Respect is earned. And for all those who seek counsel or even entertain gaining a seat at your said table, those are the currencies that the tables such as these honor. You can't be bought. You can't be leased. You can't be rented. If solid people fuck with you, they fuck with you on the strength of who you are supposed to be. Doesn't matter your car. Doesn't matter what you own. Doesn't matter who you know. If you ain't worth shit, there's no amount of money in the world that can buy that respectability back with solid people. An F-19 is an F-19 from Martin Luther King Street to Wall Street. Money only shows you who you truly are. Money isn't wrong. It's the individual behind that wallet and how they move and how they conduct themselves. But that's another conversation for another day. So I'll be back in closing to finish this series out with part 4 and 5. And for those who have questions, concerns, gripes, bitches, and moans about the commentary that was given here today, feel free to hit the comment section. Or you can hit me on my email at genuinearticle75@gmail.com. And if you happen to be a balding troll who happens to look like Krusty the Clown side baby, who's running around with these issues with a crunchy bathrobe and an affinity for cats, feel free to send your rebuttals. I would love to hear them. But do understand, I have not even tapped into my petty powers yet. Not even a little bit. So with that, salute to you guys. It is great to be back here speaking life into my brothers and wreaking havoc to the individuals who cannot stand my black ass. But all my veterans across the board, Semper Fi. Pray you guys are well. Let's keep the conversation going. You let me know if I missed anything. You can leave that in the comment section. I will address it properly, good and bad. But let's start pissing and moaning about a lot of these chicken heads who have the bad mentality about dining and dashing, and let them earn the right to sit here and stay at our table, to become nourished by the fruits of our labor and of our greater selves. As always, never allow your comfort zone to become your coffin. And for you Jonathans, it always takes a pussy to expose and control one. Peace.